which is a military school in South Carolina, or you can go to work. Those are your two choices. I think if he were here, he would say I was a discipline challenge in high school. So he said, you can go to a military school or you can go to work. And I did not at the time appreciate the virtue of getting up early, short hair, and single gender education. It was an all-male military school, and I didn't appreciate the virtues of any of that. I still don't, as a matter of fact. So I went to work finding another school. My pastor went to Baylor, so my pastor talked, Dr. Alistair Walker, talked my father into letting me go to Baylor, and my dad dropped me off. He drove me out there in a pickup truck from South Carolina, dropped me off. My mom has still not forgiven him for this. The dorm wasn't even open yet. Dropped me off, and I'm sitting on the steps. In his defense, he had a long drive ahead of me back to South Carolina. But you befriended me. Your father was a pastor in South Carolina. Your older brother was born in South Carolina, so we're both sports nuts. So I tell people, you were the first person that I met at Baylor, and we have been friends since then. I will be 58 next week, so 58 minus 17 is, how long is y'all service? I will never get the answer to that. Can I use my phone?
40 years.
40 years is how long we've known each other, which is a biblical number, I think.
It's very biblical, very biblical. So, guys, tell us about your career before Washington, because most folks know of you from your time in D.C., but tell us about your family and what you did leading up to D.C.
Well, I seriously went back to South Carolina after college to marry my then girlfriend and now wife. We celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary on August the 5th. No, she's not that hard to live with. Y'all don't have to clap. It hadn't been that tough. She's the sweetest human being on the face of the earth. So we have two children. Our son was a philosophy major undergrad, so he had the same choice that all philosophy majors do upon graduation, which is go to work at a Chick-fil-A drive-thru or go to law school. He went to law school. Our daughter just took the bar. She started with a judge. She's also a lawyer. And I was a prosecutor, which is the job that I love the most. First in the federal system for 6 years as an assistant United States attorney, and then as the district attorney. And that is the job that I love the most, Ben, and that is the job that I hope people will remember. When they're walking through the line, telling my wife, he was a nice guy, we're so sorry that lightning struck him on the golf course, but we told him to come in. He shouldn't have stayed out there. I hope that they'll say he was fair and he was a good prosecutor. That's the job. That's what I did before I got to Congress, and that's the job I love the most.
You recently just got back from the Holy Land, from Israel. And why were you there? You kind of had a little bit of an epiphany, if you would.
Well, I went when I was 17. A Sunday school teacher of mine named Dick Littlejohn took me when I was 17, and it's a life-changing trip, but I don't have a bucket list. I have a bucket hat. I don't have a bucket list, except I wanted to take my wife to Israel. She is the most authentically spiritual person that I know, and I wanted her to be able to put a visual image with what she's been reading about her entire life. So we went, and it's amazing. I mean, you can't go enough. You always learn something new, but it was really amazing for me to be able to watch the person that I love more than anything in the world get to learn more about the person that she's dedicated her life to.
Tell us about your awakening there, though.
Did I have an awakening?
I think you did. Remember? We talked about this.
The main awakening I had is